But yeah, we are live.
We are live.
Hi, everyone. Welcome.
Hello.
I was just bitching about copyright. We were actually bitching about copyright. How's everyone doing tonight? I hope everyone's well. So I was just telling Jen Lou, first of all, welcome, everyone. And because I'm awkward with transitions, I'm gonna play a song, so enjoy while we get settled in. This is by Puscifer, and the title is "Man Overboard." So I think it's quite fitting. So enjoy. I love Maynard, by the way. Hi, Renee. Caffeine Q is in the house.
Blood sky morning. Should have seen the warning.
Should have seen the warning. There's the iceberg. I feel like we're on the Titanic.
Right? You know the song we actually should have played?
What's that?
Is Marilyn Manson's cover of crap.
11.
11.
So, okay, I got a confession to make, but that's the reason why the song is up here, because I was going to edit the 11 with 11 and send it to you as a, e-card, but...
Crazy old Gary gets you, 11.
Yes. Sorry, Marilyn Manson?
I'm trying to remember the name of the song. My synapses aren't firing. Just give me a sec.
Tainted Love?
No. The one with go tell that long-tongued liar, go tell the lonesome rider, go tell the rambler, the gambler, the backbiter, what's done in the dark will come to, it'll be done in the dark, it'll be brought to the light, that one.
Yeah. Well, let's see. So this kind of goes in with that theme, actually.
Sooner or later, God will shoot you down. That's what it is.
Man Overboard. Hi, Dave G. Archimedes girl. Hi, Janet. Yes, get your drinks ready.
Hi, you guys. Hi, Renee. Hi, Archimedes girl. Hi, Dave G. Mama Bear.
Extras over.
Blood sky morning. Should have seen the warning.
Excellent, Scout.
Poseidon's on a mission.
Hi, a twist of lemon. Why did I say 11? 11.
Guys.
All hands on deck.
Where I have now ruined the number 11 billion. Gary Gitchell has ruined the number 11.
11. Hi, everyone. Come on in. All right. That was an easy transition. Not very smooth at transitions, but we're learning. Hi, everyone. Welcome. As you stroll in, I decided to just go live today for several reasons. What was that? Stella is fighting with the cat. I'm sorry. Maybe we should let the song finish. I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right, about to turn it up to 11. So, the reason that I wanted to go live today, first of all, let me just get my little points here. First and foremost, I would like to say that this is a complaint, and once again, everyone is innocent until proven guilty. And the reason why we're going to go over it is because it's a court document, and we are going to go through the allegations because we're going to basically hear the other side of the story and decide from there. But so that's number one. Number two, I haven't read the whole complaint yet, but I did kind of skim through it, and I've seen a lot of, very descriptive scenes. So if you are easily triggered or, are easily disturbed, that's something to keep in mind if you choose to go forward from this point. And it's not, it's not a secret that YouTube doesn't like true crime channels. So our channel, like our content gets demonetized anyways, like almost immediately before we even start, because sometimes they even think that thumbnail is provocative. So I'm not good at filtering and censoring. So I gave up on that whole aspect of it. So I'm going to try to still use acronyms like SA and stuff like that, just because, it's easier on the ears, even though, there's nothing really to be softened about allegations like this. So fair warning, you have been warned. Okay. And then the second point
No
that
and
I
then.
have.
You're on your third point, babe, but no and then.
Oh, well, I guess the innocent and the warning I grouped them together, but
Okay.
But yes, last but not least, how about that?
How about that?
Last but not least,
How about that?
yes. I would like this discussion to kind of keep in mind the parallel discussion that we're having about Courtney Love and her shenanigans, hence the thumbnail today. And it's widely known all over her Twitters and Instagrams that she is very, very fond of Manson. And, who wasn't an outcast in the 90s and didn't love Manson? I mean, it was the ultimate FU to the authorities, in my opinion. So yes, this is also bittersweet for me because it's another one of those disillusionments, I guess, of, watching your heroes become dethroned and being able to put aside that nostalgia and that element and role that he as an artist played. So basically humanizing them. And I think that's very important because in Kurt Cobain's case, I've read now pretty much all of the books that have been published, authorized, I guess. And what I'm consistently noticing is that, Kurt is saying, I don't want to be, labeled as one thing. I'm a lot of things, and I'm not always this moody rock star. I'm just sarcastic, and that's how I communicate. And so throughout, I've noticed that his voice has been silenced, and he was kind of pushed into this role or this image. And so it's multi-layered, and I think it's relevant because, again, how does that saying go? Birds of a
feather flock together.
Yes. So that's so I never got to the point. So the point was It's related to the Silva case and the Silva versus Courtney Love case, and also the Sullivan versus Courtney Love and her Rottweilers case, because as we know, Isaiah has not shown for several of his last court hearings, and I've tried to multitask, and we've been trying to not track down in a stalker way, but just looking for articles to see if there's any updates or anything. And there really weren't many articles, but what I did come across was a lot of rumors. And, obviously, because for that exact reason, Isaiah, in my opinion, has been silenced. It's not without coincidence that the complaint and the allegations that he outlined involve, these very powerful and wealthy people coming after him to silence him. And now that he's just not appearing is very suspicious to me. And I'm quite frankly concerned for his well-being, because he hasn't come forward in any sort of public statement. So there are a lot of rumors that, he's quote unquote missing, which again, we don't know what's going on. I haven't heard from anyone to confirm one way or another. I did see a post by Hank Harrison, Courtney Love's dad, and he has his own theories about where he might be. So it's a mystery at this point, and it's concerning nonetheless. But I think, we started the hashtag kind of thanks to our poet, Ali79. We started this hashtag that we hope is gonna make its rounds, and it's Save Silva, and we're actually gonna set up a meetup on November 5th of this year, which is in a couple of months, in front of the courthouse in LA, just to show support for Silva and to encourage people not to be intimidated by these extremely disturbed individuals who obviously and clearly and evidently from what we have seen so far is very, very concerning. So that's what we're doing, and that's where we will be in November. I have set the Facebook link, and I'm going to put it below, and I'm also going to give it in chat, or I'll post it in chat eventually. Yes, the music, I should say, not necessarily Marilyn Manson. And also another reason, sorry, I'm responding to Janet Williams's comment, Manson a hero.
Well,
yes.
Hang on just a sec, please, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. There is Marilyn Manson, the artist. Okay, that is his stage name. There is Brian Warner, the person. Okay. And although there have been many times where obviously they inhabit the same body, okay? But if you go back and you actually really listen, and even if you can't understand all of the words, if you read the lyrics to a lot of Manson song titles, they do talk a lot about the hypocrisy and the way that people are judged as to who they are as a human being strictly by their external presentation.
Yeah, what impressed me. Oh, sorry.
That part of what he spoke for and to disenfranchised youth. And basically his message was, it gets better. People are always going to judge you, but you will get to a point where you don't care. And that's what it was about for Marilyn Manson, the artist. The shenanigans and the allegations are against who he is, which is Brian Warner, as a person, his behavior as a person. who used his facade as Marilyn Manson to reel and get people in and thought he was untouchable. Okay, that's all I wanted to say.
Exactly. Yeah, so thank you for making that distinction, because I think that's what's at hand here. Yeah, so I forgot where I was. Oh yes, Silva, saving Silva. So I will put the link in chat to the Facebook event. So if you want to join us, I would love for you to join us. Also, we'll include contact information if you want to reach out to us. As of right now, it is our group is getting actually larger, I will say, because there are a lot of people who are showing interest in being here. So I really want to make sure that that we do support Silva in speaking out, and not just Silva, but other victims, because I'll add, this is the last point about this, and we'll move on. But I have received, some other emails from other individuals who are also, relatively quote unquote known, or would be considered celebrities, but they have similar stories of being taunted by these, Hollywood Rottweilers like Lutfi, and that it's a thing. It's a thing because people don't want to. They have money at their disposal and they don't want to wait. They don't want to go to legal way, whatever the motivation is. There's a lot of this going on in Hollywood, and I think it's disgusting. And I think that our heroes should not be dethroned when we find out that they're, deviant predators, but we should be able to feel there should be some sort of, what do you call it? Relying on law enforcement, that relying that we're not enabling these monsters in their rampages. I could have lived without, Marilyn Manson's music, whatever. I could have lived without it if it turns out that, he has done this, and we'll see this. We'll read the complaint together. But if it turns out that it is, I would have preferred he not victimize women and whoever over a couple of his CDs or whatever the hell. I don't know, he was a big influence in the whole normalizing the whole emo thing, but I feel like as an ever evolving society, someone would have certainly taken his spot.
I mean, yeah, factual fairness. He is that who wrote it? Yes, he was openly abusive to Evan Rachel Wood, and there were a lot of eyebrows raised in the moment when they were known publicly as a couple, because you know how things go. Things happen behind this, that aren't in the public, but because of their significant age difference, there were a lot of eyebrows raised. And over the years, there's been a lot of allegations made, and not just by fans either. So it is troubling. It's troubling when a person is able to use their wealth and their fame as a tool to silence people and to take advantage of people, period.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. So this is an article that I came across, and that's kind of what inspired this whole live, because I wanted to go over it with you guys. I've been knee deep in my other research, and rather than going down these rabbit holes, because if I just did this on my own, it would have never ended. So I figured, why don't we just all have a conversation about this? because I think it's important on multiple levels. So we'll just kind of have a chill Sunday group process.
Right, exactly.
All right, so the article says another ex-girlfriend of Marilyn Manson has joined the growing list of women who've accused the singer of sexual, emotional, physical abuse in the past several months. The anonymous Jane Doe claims that Manson R'd and SA'd her multiple times during their relationship in 2011, according to court documents obtained by Deadline, filed Friday in the LA County Superior Court. She is suing him for SA and battery and intentional infliction of emotional distress and is seeking damages and a declaration that Manson's conduct broke the law. According to the lawsuit, Manson denied her food and demanded extremely frequent sex. It also says that Manson would force her to have sex with him, and he would often become violent during intercourse, leaving her with bruises. The woman also claimed in the complaint that Manson showed her a videotape of himself allegedly abusing a young woman by tying her to a chair, making her drink what appeared to be urine, and threatening her with a gun. In another incident, Manson repeatedly sexually assaulted the plaintiff and R'd her when she went to return a key to his home. Afterwards, he threatened to kill her, bragging that he would get away with it. Manson is currently being investigated by the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department for allegations of domestic violence incidents that occurred between 2009 and 2011 when he was living in West Hollywood. Earlier this week, a warrant was issued for his arrest in New Hampshire. Is that right?
Yeah, New Hampshire.
Thank you. And on 2 counts of Class A misdemeanor simple assault stemming from a 2019 concert. And that's a concert where he spit in someone's face. So that was the article, and this is now the complaint. And this is a link that was provided in the article, so I didn't go on the actual website to look up the case because, quite frankly, ain't nobody got time for that right now. So I'm going to assume that this wasn't tampered with. All right, let's just get down to the statements of fact. So this is what the plaintiff alleges that she can prove. So Jane Doe met Manson. I'm just going to use, whatever names. In February of 2018 at a pre-Grammy party. Manson struck up a conversation and expressed an interest in Jane Doe and asked for her phone number. Within a few days, he began texting, calling, and emailing. Manson convinced Jane Doe to come to his residence and watch a movie, reassuring her that his assistant, Miss Ashley Walters, would be present to act as a chaperone. Jane went to his residence located above a liquor store in Los Angeles, California. Okay, Ashley, who's the assistant, was there as promised, but it was clear to Jane Doe that Manson was aggressively pursuing her despite the presence of his assistant. He showered her with compliments and bizarrely spray painted a phrase in his bedroom regarding Jane Doe's nationality. After the first meeting at his apartment, Manson started emailing, texting, and calling Jane Doe even more frequently. He invited her to go on a date with him to a movie theater.
No, Stella, you're not being invited on a date. Calm down, sis. Well, I think they should invite you on the date too, Stella, but nobody asked me.
Yeah, sorry about that. My mom just got home and Stella got super excited. So Okay. Where was I? Yes, they wanted to go to a theater, and he sent his assistant to pick Jane Doe up. And he was in the car as well. After the date at the theater, the relationship between Jane and Manson became romantic and physical. They did not have intercourse for the first couple of weeks because Jane was not on birth control and Manson refused to use protection. Approximately 2 weeks after meeting Jane, Manson told her that he loved her. He claimed he wanted a serious, monogamous relationship and asked her to move in with him. During the first weekend of March, Manson went on a trip to Japan for a fashion show. When he returned, he brought with him numerous gifts for Jane, including expensive jewelry and a pink kimono that he expected her to wear at his apartment. He also gave her a key to his apartment. That sounds like our good old friend, NK. Okay. From this point on, Manson made it clear to her that she was required to be with him quite often unless he had band practice or another engagement, at which time he allowed her to go to the duplex she rented with her aunt. Though Jane did not give up her duplex, okay, help me with this word.
Hold on, let me look.
I can't. Right.
Acquiesced.
Thank
Acquiesced.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Those weird loops throw me for a loop, and I don't want to go into a what?
Mm-hmm.
Acquiesced.
There you go. Which means gave in, compromise.
Manson's demands, and effectively moved in with him. Manson became increasingly controlling of Jane. When he permitted her to leave or go to her own residence, he would text and call her incessantly, and he would chastise and or punish her if she did not return quickly enough. If Jane did not respond to his texts immediately, he would call her angrily, demanding to know where she was and who she was with. He would also make such texts and calls at any time of the day or night, and he expected her to respond or answer immediately. Manson slept much of the day, was often awake only at night and mornings, and kept his apartment extremely dark, sometimes pitch black and very cold. Jane was often disoriented and unable to keep track of time because the windows were covered or blacked out. She regularly had to use a flashlight inside the apartment. Despite the frigid temperature, Warner refused to allow Jane to wear clothing, demanding that she be nude much of the time. He also would become furious with her if she attempted to touch the thermostat. In addition to the darkness and being cold virtually all of the time, Jane was often hungry at Manson's apartment. Initially, when she moved in, he would allow her to eat, but over time, he started to deny her food. He kept food for himself, but he forbade her from eating. Manson told Jane that because she was his girlfriend, she needed to lose weight because her weight embarrassed him. Jane was frightened of Manson's fans. Manson told her frequently that his fans were extreme in their devotion and likely would hate her. They were frighteningly loyal to him and fanatically obsessed. Manson warned Jane that his fans had bullied and harassed previous girlfriends of his, and she was nervous about them finding out who she was. Jane often felt frightened of Manson, but he went to great lengths to gain her trust and reassure her whenever she expressed a concern. He was decades older and a self-proclaimed genius. He often spoke about his extremely high IQ, his accomplishments, and his famous friends. The fact that he had such famous friends and beautiful ex-girlfriends made Jane feel as though she should put aside her doubts and fears. Jane was made to feel inferior to Manson due to the age difference, his status and power, and everyone around him who also seemed to treat him with extreme reverence and adulation. Manson told Jane about his relationship with Evan Rachel Wood and that he had wanted to kill her. He told Jane about a time he had tied Miss Wood to a chair and pointed a gun at her. Hold on, let me catch a sip because this is getting escalating way too quick.
Let me answer this or respond to this comment. So they all use this in their case like it's a criminal issue.
Hi, Callie Cat.
They're not using the regulation of the temperature of the room as if it's a criminal issue. What it is a complaint. So all of the allegations, it's setting the stage for the way that Jane Doe alleges Manson controlled her. And by not allowing somebody to warm, if they're freezing in the house and you're not allowing them to touch the thermostat, it is a form of control, and can be a form of abuse. Now, if you're not allowing somebody to regulate the temperature because you're broke and electricity is expensive, that's different than it just being an issue of simple control, which is what this particular victim is alleging. No, keeping your home like a meat locker is not in and of itself inherently a criminal action.
Yeah, and we can obviously question these aspects, but I kind of get annoyed quickly, which is something that I have to work on, but I don't have much patience these days. I wonder why. Because, when someone takes such a small aspect of like, oh, she said it was cold in the house, she's lying. Like, what the hell? Just because she said it was cold, what about the rest of the shit that she said? Like, I don't like these. I've seen a lot of the comments with regards to the Silva video as well, where they're like, Courtney has whatever, da 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 da. Therefore, it's not true. Or, oh yes, on my autopsy video about Kurt Cobain, it's obvious that he died before the shotgun came along. So that is clear evidence of freaking foul play if I've ever seen any. And, people in the comments would be like, well, how do you think she did it if she was in Los Angeles? This is a proven fact. And it's like, bruh, do we really have to go that deep? So this is just, we're reading what this victim is saying her experience is. Right now, that's all that this is. I'm actually more interested in some of the statements, because the way that I look at this is she's making claims here that it would be impossible to have not known or seen. So all of these statements that she's making, she's claiming as fact, meaning she has receipts. She has interviews, statements, declarations. Evan Rachel Wood is dropped in there, meaning like her case is now open to being investigated, or by her as part of a questioning for Manson in this case. So I feel that, a lot of these times, lawsuits are filed as a way of intimidating or whatever the motivation might be. but they end up, I don't know. I feel myself going off the tracks, so I'll rail it back.
I feel like, and Jay, this isn't directed solely at you. I never heard Dr. B say Jay Erickson said she was that she was lying. No, I didn't see you write anything in the chat about anybody being a liar. You asked a question about it rising to the level of criminal activity, and I explained why it does rise to the level of criminal activity. Keeping your home cold in and of itself alone, and that being the only issue, is not illegal. You can keep your thermostat whatever you want to have the thermostat at, but it's going to
like this is torture, right? This is like psychological intimidation and torture, because look, you're okay. There's one thing to keep your house cool. Like, absolutely. I'm all for that, because I love cuddling up and doing all that. Like, that's one thing. But right now in this complaint, why it's even mentioned is because of we are to have this image in our mind that he is intentionally and maliciously keeping the temperature low and refusing to let her regulate her own body temperature by putting on clothes. So he's stripping her of a basic human right and a basic human need of warmth. So that's what this is saying. She's trying to tell us that he is psychologically manipulating and basically torturing her, because psychological torture is exactly that, is stripping you of your basic human rights to safety and security. And so that's the point of it. Now, is it true? That's what Manson gets to argue.
Exactly. These are just the allegations made by this particular victim. It's also important to keep in mind, because I saw another comment, and I don't remember who said it, and I'm not scrolling up, but about, wasn't she allowed to leave? Well, yeah, she admits that she was allowed to leave. And then she also further goes on to say what happened when she did leave, what happened when she wasn't around, what he did to her. And these are her allegations. And like Dr. B said, Manson can answer these. He is allowed a defense, and he will defend himself. And all we're reading at this point is what the allegations are. We're not putting anything out there other than that.
Yes, and I didn't. So this is just from the article. This is a complaint. It's only 11 pages long, so it doesn't include all of the exhibits that would be attached to it, if there were any. Like I said, I didn't pull up the case because, quite frankly, at this point, like
if I was an attorney on the case, I wouldn't be speaking right now. So no. I'm not an attorney on this case or any case. I'm not an attorney at all.
Oh, yeah, no, did people get lost?
I don't know.
Did people wander in? No, we're not attorneys. We're true crime discussers. But what were we talking about right before?
Well, we're just reading the allegations and, denying her that we understand that. Just read the allegations. It is what it is. Here we
go. Of course. Here we go. All right. Where was I? Let me. Now let's do this. Okay. Okay. So.
Well, thank you. I'm going to say, hopefully I don't butcher your name. Sino Coturon.
What did she say?
I mean, you are very expert. I liked it.
Yes, absolutely. Who doesn't love Jen Lu? This is Jen Lu, by the way. Oh,
there are people out there that do not love Jen Lu, and that is okay.
This is serious now. We are interrupting this broadcast to bring to you a very special announcement. Please go over to our sister channel, the
Ward Case Studies.
Yes, if the Mama Bear or one of the girls could post it in the comments for for y'all to please head on over there and look at Jen Liu's discussion of the West Memphis 3 case, which is fascinating. And also we have our roast of No Sweat Andy on that channel as well. So I encourage you to watch that, because even though we went into it as a comedy, there's a lot of good information in there if you're interested in Courtney Love's behavior, etc., because we know, as we have learned from, our roast, that they're quite friendly with each other. So I do encourage you to go to the Ward case studies and check it out and subscribe. So there's that announcement. Now back to our regular broadcast. All right. So he told her about Evan Rachel Wood and how he had tied her to the chair and pointed a gun at her. So Manson said he considered killing Miss Wood, but then decided to be merciful. He recounted a story about the previous Christmas day when he had called Miss Woods 158 times and cut himself every time she did not answer the phone. There were a few key elements or milestones in their relationship where Manson, Warner, implied to Jane that he was honoring her, such as when he first gave her the key to his apartment. The biggest one of these, quote, honors or benchmarks in their relationship came when he told her he had decided that he wanted to show her a videotape he called, quote, groupie, which he claimed to have made in the 1990s. He kept the videotape locked in a safe and told Jane that the only 3 people in the world besides him had ever seen only 3 other people had seen the video. He told her that if he showed this to her, it was because he trusted her completely and that it was incredibly meaningful. All right, at this point, red flag alert. So my first thought is he's got some inappropriate ass child pee.
He's filmed something illegal.
Something. And the fact that he says that only 3 people and him and now her, he's saying that, only 5 people at this point had seen the video. Well, sorry to break to you, Warner, but now a lot more other eyes are going to be wanting to see this videotape.
Correct.
Okay, let's see what was on it. Let me just light up this cigarette. Okay.
Wait a minute. Wait, before you continue. Mike Droppin' Mama says, I missed it though. What was the premise of him being arrested? I totally forgot about his arrest until today. I don't think that he's been arrested. I think there's only been a warrant issued for his arrest for a Class A misdemeanor. Is it assault?
Yes.
So a Class A misdemeanor is the highest misdemeanor that you can get before it's a felony.
Here, earlier this week, a warrant was issued for his arrest in New Hampshire on 2 counts of Class A misdemeanor simple assault stemming from a 2019 concert. So that's what the warrant was issued for. But my hunch is, they say that they want to get rid of the warrant because it's annoying, because it's been in there since 2019. But I'm sure that with COVID and everything, they got more problems on their hands than to, lighten their caseloads.
And a Class A misdemeanor is not really an extraditable charge. They're not going to come for you from, if the issue is in New Hampshire and you're over there living in LA, they're not going to come all the way across the country to snatch you up on a Class A misdemeanor. So what they probably did is just reactivate it again and make it a higher priority. But please go on. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know.
Yes. Oh, you know what? Thanks for reminding me. I had prepared this whole banner so that, like, peoples may know what we're reading.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
See, there we go.
Now, the thing that Dr. B is reading now is this is a lawsuit filed by an ex-girlfriend of Marilyn Manson.
And she's not the first one. So the article says another, and then it gives us a link to a growing list. So let's see what that growing list. Ashley Walters. So that's the assistant, right? So that's the assistant that was named in the first one. All right. So his assistant that's named in this lawsuit is also one of the victims as well. So let's just keep reading.
Okay.
All right. Where was I? Okay. When it came time to show the videotape, Warner sent Miss Walters home so he and Jane could be alone. He explained to her that he had filmed this video in 1996 after his band had played a show at the Hollywood Bowl. He said he was staying at a house located near I'm not even going to try to pronounce this, in the Hollywood Hills. How do you say it?
Hold on, let me look. Hold on. Hold on. Let's see.
I'm foreign, so I get a pass.
Cahunga Cross,
Thank you.
I think.
That. Okay. Warner turned the volume of the sound system to a very high setting and pressed play. The film started with the band partying together. It was very rowdy. Warner put protection on his ding-dong, or on a ding-dong of his bandmate, Twiggy, and performed oral sex on him. There was a knock or ring at the door. Someone answered it. The door opened, and a seemingly young teenage fan was holding something she brought for Warner. She was wearing a Marilyn Manson band t-shirt and dark eye makeup. Warner ordered she be let in. He then tied the young fan to a chair and lectured and interrogated her. He humiliated and berated her. She cried and pled. The girl's t-shirt was removed, and Warner forced her to drink a glass of one of the band members' urine. Later, a gun is introduced, and Warner threatened her with it and possibly pistol whipped her. Jane was repulsed by and scared of the film. As Warner increased his abuse and violence in the film, plaintiff began thinking that he was showing this to her because he was going to kill her. She began glancing at the front door and trying to figure out if she could run to it before he could grab her. However, Warner had placed himself between her and the door. He spent a lot of time watching her face and reactions. As Warner's screaming and abuse got worse, she was no longer able to hold back her tears. When he saw that she was crying, but he told her that she needed to keep watching until the end. When the video was over, she remembers crying and asking repeatedly if the girl in the video was dead. Warner would not answer. Jane thought that he murdered her. Warner claimed the girl was actually his girlfriend at the time. She was confused because the girl looked like a young teenager. All right, well, here we go.
Wow.
Okay, let me just get through this part.
Okay.
Where are we? Okay. Warner told Jane that when he first showed the movie to Tony, what is this? Chula?
Hold on.
Jen Lou is my interpreter.
Let's see.
Are you normal?
Oh.
This guy, whoever.
I see. I'm not
Whoever that is. And that guy... oh, sorry.
No say. I don't say how to say that. I don't know how to say that.
Yeah. So this guy... And this guy told him he needed to lock the tape in a safe and never show it to anyone, or else he would be sent to prison. Oh, so that's a buddy.
The manager. It was his manager.
Okay, thanks. So his manager told him, basically covering for...
Later, I will put this last name into the Googles and see what the Googles comes up with on pronunciation.
Yeah. Okay, so Jane Doe had never seen anything so disturbing and was traumatized. She did not understand why he would be sent to prison if what transpired was all just, quote, acting. She spent a lot of time questioning Warner to figure out who the girl was and to confirm that she's okay. But he only gave vague and evasive answers. He claimed it was a woman in his, quote, Long Road Out of Hell music video, even though the young girl in, quote, Groupie did not resemble the woman in the video. He never told her what became of the girl in the film. One night toward the end of March, Jane was meant to meet up with Warner and his entourage, but due to a miscommunication between Jane and Miss Walters, who's assistant, she did not know where to meet him. When she arrived, Warner was furious at her for being late and behaved very angrily toward her all evening. When they returned to his apartment, he became more and more erratic and angry. Warner commanded she and Miss Walters, so the assistant, to dance and sing karaoke. Miss Walters told Jane that they had to comply with his wishes and that she needed to act happy and smile in order to avoid conflict. Jane Doe felt degraded and stripped of her free will. That's exactly the crime here. It's the stripping of her basic right, human right. It wasn't... Anyway.
This is a lot.
Yeah, so this is page 6. Let's just power through it.
All right.
And we'll break through go through it, whatever. You know what I mean. So Warner went on a drug and alcohol fueled bender for the next 3 days. During this time, he screamed and repeatedly threatened both his assistant and his victim. He threw a glass against the wall, shattering it. And when his victim tried to clean it up, he screamed at her and forced her to stop. At one point, when the victim was crying, he told the assistant to take photos of her crying. Jane Doe wanted them to be deleted, but the assistant refused out of fear of Warner. So that's it. These are then... Oh, wait, hold on. Let me see. Never mind. Never mind. Why did I say this?
I mean, do we really want to read all of this? Because this is pretty... I'm looking at it right now, and it's very graphic.
This is very, very graphic. So we can... This is...
allegations of SA and violence. Right. And so I don't know that we should really read it.
Yeah, I'm going to put this up in the
Description.
Description, yes. So you can read it yourself. But yeah. So we shall see what happens with this. It was filed on Friday. So we'll keep an eye on this. But, you know, like I said, that's the whole point of our Saving Silva campaign, is that, you know, if this is going on, and I think there is overwhelming evidence that there is, at least in our Cobain case, in our Courtney Love case. So yeah,
It's disheartening because, and I do want to touch on this rumor that's gone around for ever now, almost 30 years, about Manson removing his rib, the last rib. Okay. That's not I mean, can it be done? Sure. Would a doctor perform that surgery? Probably not. And it's not necessary in order for him to be able to pleasure himself. It's really about stretching. Yoga would do the trick, and I'm gonna leave it at that. So and I think he's also denied it as well. And I've seen him in various states of undress, and he looks like he's working with a full set of ribs. That's all I can say. I don't know how else to put it. I mean,
yeah, no, that's quite to the point, straight to the point. Yeah, so that's the complaint. I'm not going to be doing any sort of deep dives into this anytime soon because, you know, Anna can't.
Right. This is one of those situations, in my opinion, that, okay, obviously the allegations have been made, a lawsuit has been filed, it becomes a matter of public record, okay? Mm-hmm. But should we deep dive into it? Well, no, because first of all, we're not going to be able to find a whole heck of a lot. We might be able to find some things, but not all the things which you would need in order to be able to discuss these allegations in this case in any meaningful way, in my opinion. And I feel like these things should work their way through the court system.
Exactly.
Not
and that's,
you know,
and that's what I mean, like, by I'm going to be watching this very carefully. You know, I'll be marking all the court dates in my calendar. You can count on that, and just pop in and check in on what's going down because, you know, this has got to stop, and victims need to be encouraged, and people who have too much power and too many resources to even use these kinds of methods to get away with their criminal behavior, like, has got to stop, like, period. And we're starting here. And this is my start and my end. I'm not, you know, like, I'm not gonna, but that's enough. And I think that if we show support for Silva, and in any way to show support, I mean, for God's sake, we don't even know where he's at. Like, he's missing.
Right. So. And to Samuel Williams, so YouTube is sometimey, and what they like to do is show you the video in the poorest quality. If you touch your screen, there should be 3 dots, and you should be able to change the quality of the video from 144 to, I think, 180 is the highest it'll go, or 720. It depends on what you're watching on, and that will make it not blurry. But it automatically sets it, and now it's only now with the new update on YouTube, it only allows you to change it for whatever it is you're watching right in that moment. Like it doesn't stay, the setting doesn't stay. That's a little YouTube trick because they sometime me. They do it to me too, and I'm looking, I'm like, did I just, am I going blind? What's happening here? Everything is very fuzzy. And then I remember, oh yeah, the YouTubes is at it again.
Yes. So save Silva. Don't forget about that. I will post the link in the description. And Jen, what do you think? I was thinking about opening up panel maybe for half an hour to an hour and hear people's thoughts and just talk about this. What do you think?
Down. I'm down if you are.
Awesome. So I'm putting the link in the chat, and if you want to come up and talk, we're gonna keep it on topic. So either Manson or Kurt Cobain case / Courtney Love. Click the link. Come on up. Let's talk. While I sip on my coffee. But I am definitely excited for this meetup in
that is going to be exciting.
Los Angeles. Jen Lou,
Yes,
you're coming
ma'am.
with me, right?
Of course, I am coming with you. I can't leave you unsupervised on the wily streets of LA. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What kind of friend does that? A not good friend. That's the kind.
11.
Speaking of 11, okay, look, I know I'm like a week behind coming up with a new episode. And the truth of the matter is I've just really been avoiding it because it's not a subject I want to discuss. I know it has to be discussed. I promise that I will be live with the newest episode and discussing the autopsies on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Whoop whoop. Yes, and we still have well, I hope so, Mysterious Fun. Mysterious Fun says maybe Silva's in witness protection. And the reason why I said I hope so is that would mean that there's a federal investigation and he's a key witness and he's needed. So I hope that he's being kept safe if that's the case, but I don't know. Again, there's a lot of rumors, but there's nothing to substantiate them. So we can go into the what ifs until.
Right. 5 ever, if we wanted to.
Yes, Oliver.
And Oliver, he is innocent until proven guilty. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty. We're only reading the complaints, okay? It is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's, you know what I mean? Like, that's natural. But
right.
Oliver also said love is guilty. so yes, everyone except Courtney Love. She does not get that.
What Wander to Wellness wants to know, did you guys book the trip yet? Have you met us at all? we are the biggest procrastinators of all time. And this is only like end of May, beginning of June. We got so much time to book this trip.
There's nothing to book. You just get up and go,
Exactly.
We created the event. There's a date and there's a time. I'm not good with I'm good with organizing and planning, but I'm also good at procrastinating. So for me, it's like if there's not someone specifically there in our team to schedule everything for us and tell us this is where you need to be, it's every man for himself.
We're all running around willy-nilly.
Yes, this is the ward. Yeah, this is the only place. We're all a bit mad here, but it's the sanest place. And
I think it's one of the sanest places in all of the YouTube lands, for sure. Of course,
Coolest Reviews says, unless you're Courtney Love, who has been proven guilty many times, but is still innocent, bat eyelashes. This is my response to that. You already will know what the response is, but girl, Your days are done. We are looking at you now, and
Ain't nobody got time for that.
so
We see you.
we see you.
Are any of you good at corporate finance? I mean, that's a. I
I
need you
can't.
to be more,
I'm not.
way more specific. Like, do I know maths? Yes, I know maths. I can add and I can subtract and I can multiply and I can divide.
I
Would
can't
you,
do my own personal finances.
I
Let
would
alone.
not be trying to give financial advice to other people. I would not be trying to balance anybody else's checkbook. So, I think I'm going to go with no. I'm not. I'm not good at. I'm not good at that. I don't know anything about it. I wouldn't. No.
So, since we're kind of just hanging out, I think that we should play Courtney Love's Barbara Walters interview again.
You know she's going to copyright strike us. We already got a copyright strike on the other channel
Not a
for that
strike,
mess.
not a strike, a
Not a
claim.
strike, a claim. Excuse me. Already got a
Yes,
claim against us.
but
So
hence
rude.
my little rant at the very beginning of the live, where I said that YouTube doesn't like us true crimers anyway, so our shit is demonetized from the jump. Like, before we even schedule the live, YouTube is like, nope, no money for you. So the copyright claim really doesn't mean anything other than they're gonna want to make money off of it. But
I didn't even try to make money off it. Calm down, YouTubes.
right,
It's
thirsty asses.
too soon. Save a little for the second date, YouTubes. It's too
Yeah,
soon.
so
Calm
if you
down.
think that if you wanna come on YouTube and do this type of thing, then you're gonna and make money. Well, the first thing is, you're gonna have to like really put effort into how you communicate and what you say, because their list of questionable
No-nos.
words is very, very long, and I already have issues with like filtering and social cues and being politically correct all the time and whatever. So that's, so my channel basically we're doing this because we enjoy our community, and this is a way that we can spread awareness to issues like this in our justice system, and we get to do cool ass shit like this meetup
And this
without
won't be
anyone.
monetized.
Yeah, and we
There
won't.
goes the monetization.
Yeah, and then and there's no one hovering above us to to tell us, oh, you shouldn't talk like that, you shouldn't say that. So
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Sino Turan, I have a doctorate in clinical psychology, but I do have experience in forensic psychology as well, and I did work in the like corrections as a psychologist too. So yes.
I came from the school of hard knocks, and I've been in the YouTube and the Facebook streets for a long time, and I've seen some things. There's where
And
my
I heard
qualifications are.
yeah, that's like, yes, that's my formal education, but I'm not providing services here, so do not take this as any sort of legal, medical, or other advice. This is just us friends hanging out on our true crime channel, where we get to talk about messed up shit like this.
Correct. This is simply commentary. Our opinions are our own. They're not intended to sway anybody to do. It's not advice. None of it's just for entertainment purposes only. That's it.
Thank you, Callie Cat. Okay, Matt says, concerning Marilyn Manson, it's so crazy how these women didn't say anything over a decade ago when this allegedly happened. Manson was enemy number one to society back then. Yes, that's a good point. So, I mean, what do you have to say? The first part of the statement about women not coming forward initially when this happened, I'm not even going to address because I'm over that already. Like, I feel like that's just ignorant at this point because like that's not even an argument.
Well, we can't possibly make that assumption. How
Right,
do
but
we know they didn't come forward? We
Mhm.
don't. So we cannot make that assumption. I'm not going to make that assumption. I don't
But
have a
does
mouse in my pocket, so I'm not going to say we. It's just me. I'm
yeah,
not going to make that assumption. I don't know if they did come forward, and maybe they did and they weren't taken seriously, and this is their
like
only
with
way to come
Epstein?
forward. Correct. There's, you
Mhm.
know, I don't know that. And none of us, I mean, as far as the height of when people were trying to get Marilyn Manson shut down, as far as like protests and you know shutting
Mhm.
down concerts and stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah, so that the first part of the comment, like it's not even up
we
for
just don't
debate right
have,
now.
yeah, we just have
Right.
no way of knowing whether that's true or not.
Exactly. But the second part of his argument was Manson was enemy number one to society back then. That is true. So I'm assuming that Matt means, well, he was already disliked and under scrutiny anyways. So why didn't they just feel comfortable enough to go forward? See, I can speculate on that a little bit because I personally did identify with that aspect of the Marilyn Manson persona because I did see him in, Bowling for Columbine, and that was a whole other, cultural trauma that we all went through. It was sort of unprecedented, and it kind of set the gloomy blueprint for what was to come in America. And he was the first target, and I thought he handled it very intelligently, and I was impressed by that. I was impressed by his appearance in the documentary and his interview that he gave, and his very high IQ clearly came through. So I can see how someone who is, extremely intelligent and gifted with the gift of gab or whatever, it's part of what it is. I don't know how else to say it, but yes,
Nicolette,
I
you
don't
can,
necessarily agree that he was public enemy number one. I think he was public enemy number one to people who needed a scapegoat. But yeah, I don't know.
and will you drop the or post the link again? Nicolette Amato says, I've been a Manson fan for over 20 years, would love to engage in this topic.
Yeah,
Well, come on in
absolutely.
and engage. We'd love to hear you engage.
Here we go. Let me paste it in chat, and I'm gonna pin it as well. So if anyone else wants to come up. Let me remove our Silva, but yeah, don't forget about that.
Yes.
That's a loud ass bird, Jen.
Listen, this Florida, okay? You had the whole Rough Riders rolling by your house like
I
at the
know.
beginning of this live. So please don't get onto my little bird friend over here who's probably just singing to his girl.
Yeah. back, back, back,
And
back,
you're
back, back,
right,
back.
Oliver. Dita Von Teese has come out publicly and said she doesn't know this person that the allegations are about. That is not something that she herself experienced from Manson. And what I will say is that if that's not what she experienced, right? And these allegations have been made public, then certainly she's within her rights to say what she knows. and there's nothing wrong with that.
Try
But
that.
I can't say that because she didn't experience it, and I know you're not saying this either, but just because she didn't experience it doesn't mean that it didn't happen. We just don't know.
Coolest reviews. That's part of our ambiance.
We're setting the mood.
Yes.
She said the link isn't working.
Oh. Yeah, I replaced it, but I don't see anyone backstage.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Yeah, Janessa, she says, I believe some individuals don't tell her right away. I just have a hard time with the mass Me Too's towards many public names recently. Please don't. No. I absolutely agree that a lot of people have taken advantage of the Me Too movement. And, that's like in any movement. You're always going to have opportunists that are going to leech on to any sort of idea to somehow gain from it. That's normal. That's to be expected. So I agree with that. But again, in this case, this young lady went as far as to file these allegations in the court of law, and that makes her also susceptible to Marilyn or Warner questioning her and confronting her as to the allegations. So that's where we watch what happens now, because a lot of times they do like a hush-hush agreement, and they'll pay them just not to go to court because it's a nuisance to go through someone's dirty laundry and have it aired out publicly, which is another thing that I feel like happens a lot. And how these people get away with it is because they just pay their way through it. And if they're persistent, then they go ahead and do something like Courtney Love is doing to Isaiah Silva, which is file countless of irrelevant and unnecessary motions to financially and psychologically deplete their opponent, knowing that they're not in the same position of power
And
as them.
This is an interesting case to me, and it also goes parallel with the current case taking place in California right now with Robert Durst. Okay, so back in when Robert Durst was acquitted of the charges against him in Houston, Texas, at the very beginning of everything, right as he finally settled on his who his attorney was going to be, et cetera, the first thing that his attorneys did, which is what attorneys do, especially well-paid attorneys, is they file all kinds of motions pertaining to the evidence to keep certain stuff out of being introduced by the prosecution, so not able to be used against their client. That is what they do. But if you will conversely watch a same charge trial of a regular average citizen who doesn't have the power of a whole trust behind them, and the way that their attorneys handle it, it's not that their attorneys are incompetent. It's just that when an average person is paying their attorneys, they want it to be as expedient and streamlined as possible. And so what I've never seen so many objections raised in an opening statement in my life. And I've watched a ton of trials on TV. And I'm telling y'all that Robert Durst's attorneys, it felt like when the prosecution was giving their opening statement, they must have objected at least every third or fourth sentence. Like they, seriously, every time he'd say something, objection, Objection.
Yeah,
Objection.
I hate
And
that's what annoyed me in the Arias trial. It
Mhm.
really like annoyed me. That okay, sorry. Triggered.
I mean, so although we're all supposed to get in the United States equal justice under the law, we all know that the reality of the situation is um, those who have a lot of money at their disposal get a different kind of justice than us, like regular everyday citizens. And the truth of the matter is that Robert Durst's attorney, I can't hate on them, although it's annoying. They're doing their job. That is what an attorney, a defense attorney, is supposed to do. They are supposed to defend their client to the very best of their abilities and with every tool available to them under the law. And that's what his attorneys are doing. But the longer they're in court, the more expensive the bill is, which is why regular people are like, looky here, just object to the main things, not all the things. Because we don't need a big bill. I can't afford it.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting? One of the things that stood out to me. Oh, okay. I'm messing with my microphone. I need to leave it alone.
Yeah, you're not muted. You're good.
Okay. One of the things that stood out to me in the Jodi Arias appeal that was heard in front of the Superior Court in Arizona was that she was alleging prosecutorial misconduct. And one of the pieces of evidence that they presented was the amount of objections that were made versus how many were sustained versus how many were overruled. So basically saying the amount of sustained objections equals to something's wrong with whoever is being accused, the prosecutor in this sense, because his questioning was so inappropriate that the judge had to sustain. Brock, can you be louder? Say hello to the people of the YouTube streets. My brother is always just so graceful when he.
I sound like a cow.
Yeah, you sound like a cow. Like I'm in a field watching cows.
We're going to have to tip you, Doctor Who. Out here being a cow. Tip you.
Yeah. So
I don't have, listen, Oliver, I can't say, I don't know if you're talking about you guys meaning like the chat or you guys meaning the us that are on panel right now. I don't know. Yeah. I wasn't there.
I'm suspicious.
I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. I'm waiting, as I always do in these cases, to see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, Marilyn Manson, is a figure that is, a common household name in my streets over here. So, I cannot let that influence what is being alleged. And that's why we're saying, like, we're watching this case very closely. But thank you, Natasha. We have the same name, Natasha.
Aw. And the other issue here is that regardless of what individuals believe about the allegations, whether they're true or not, having these allegations made against somebody that you are a fan of is disheartening. Now, it's just disheartening, and we will all have to wait and see what happens. I'm not judging him. I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah, I mean, if there's anything that I've learned out of this whole Kurt Cobain case and this investigation, which I know I've been very slow in putting out videos, but you guys, I am seriously just flabbergasted at the amount of information and I don't know, like it's it's shocking for me. So as I'm putting everything together for the psychological autopsy that I'm doing for Kurt, I'm also kind of picking out all the major events to put together in a video to present to you guys. And I'm, excuse me, I'm done with 1993, and where I'm at right now is getting all the nitty gritty details of Kurt Cobain's last week on Earth, and it is mind blowing. So I can't wait to present that to you guys. I derailed completely now, but yeah, the thing that I learned about in this case is that, look, anything is possible.
Void, if you go to the About tab on our YouTube page, it'll tell you how to, you can click the link and it'll email us. I can't talk, so
I'll put it in chat too. So
there you go.
The email is truepsychward@pm.me. I'll put it in chat too. And
Duality,
like I said,
reality. I don't know that case. Do you,
yes.
Dr. B? Do you know this case? That duality, reality?
Oh, yes, the Kristen stuff. Yeah, absolutely. So
Okay.
Kristen was the bassist for Courtney Love.
Oh.
Yes, and she is she's the one who died of a heroin overdose 3 weeks after Kurt.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
I do know who that is, and I don't understand why reading it in print somehow shut my whole brain system down.
That's okay. Yeah, we've been jumping all over. There are a lot of aspects and a lot of names in the Cobain case, but I think I got a not a really good, but I think I got a good enough grip on all of those relationships, and I think I got them. You know, I'm a visual person, so I have like a visual board that is going to be helpful with all of these names, hopefully. But yes, we're definitely going to be discussing Kristen's death and everything surrounding that, which is also very. I've reached out to the King County Medical Examiner's Office and have requested some of the investigative files in Kristen's case. I have not heard back yet, and I'm assuming that I'm not going to get anything. But yes, we'll definitely talk about her.
I'm just a mess. I try not to take myself too seriously sometimes. So that's why sometimes when I'm reading the comments, I have a wait, what minute? But then everything fires like it's supposed to, and then I get right back on track.
Yeah.
So.
And the other thing about Kristen, what was it that I wanted to mention about that? Oh yes, it was her birthday this week. It would have been her birthday, her 57th birthday, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I mean, she's definitely not forgotten in this story and definitely deserves a lot of coverage. And we will most certainly spend some time looking at her life and also her death.
I mean, all of these situations and cases are sad. And the saddest part is that some people will never get justice. Like, Kathleen Durst's family, the closest to justice they will ever come is if Robert Durst is found guilty of Susan Berman's murder. That's the closest to justice they will ever come. And that's sad. And
yeah,
and like with Marilyn Manson, okay.
I love when she takes a deep breath. It means she's about to drop some knowledge on us. Here we go.
The fact of the matter is this.
The fact of the fatter.
I'm sorry, you're right. The fact of the fatter is this. The allegations that have been made against Marilyn Manson, not just by this victim, but by others, are so similar in the facts, or the allegations, I should say, and the circumstances, that it is definitely compelling. Okay. Do I think it should be looked at? Absolutely, it should be looked at. Do I think that, like I said, I don't know if I'm curious to see how he defends himself, what his defense is going to be, because I do believe in you are innocent until you're proven guilty. I don't like to take people's words for it, and based on a snippet that I've seen in the news of some interview that they gave when they're stressed out, and say, oh, that's it, they did it, I knew it, they're guilty, they're guilty, they're guilty. I don't roll like that, because I know that the court system makes mistakes. I know the criminal justice system isn't perfect. And I also am aware that there are people who take advantage of the court systems and use it, and the allegations are lies, and it's all possible, and all of those things have to be considered in this situation pertaining to Marilyn Manson. That's all I had to say. Boom.
Boom shakalaka. Is a link? Yeah, the link is still pinned if anyone wants to come out. And as far as the Cobain case, A Twist of Lemon 666 actually has a recording of another very, I think, key individual in the last week of Kurt's life. And also one of the last people to have seen him allegedly before his death. And she actually has a Twist of Lemon has a recording of Jessica Hopper on her channel where she attempted to ask her some questions. So when we get to that point of the timeline, I would love to invite A Twist of Lemon on and discuss her, the whole situation, how it even came about, because Jessica Hopper is one of those individuals in this case that I think that I would like to take a closer look at, because I do believe that she was definitely a minor at the time of, when Courtney kind of took her under her wing. So,
Tim,
yeah.
if you did not have sweat glands, you would die of heat stroke. We've been through this. Poor no sweat Andy.
Oh,
Bless his
look, I'm gonna have to put that video up. This is the best roast of the entire true crime ever. So I'm gonna pull it up, and you guys have to check it out. So it's on the on our sister channel. I will put the link in the description. Let me just figure this out for later. So watch that.
Thank you.
But
Thank you, Scout. If you found yourself lately surrounded by heaviness and you're frustrated, you just had a bad week, whatever, watch it, because it definitely, I had so much fun that night in that roast, and
I was
there's
crying.
a few times when Dr. B and myself did not quite keep it together, and it was just a whole giggle sesh. But if you just need some levity in your life, just go on over and watch
Absolutely.
it. It ought to make you smile.
Yeah, like the fact that it has what does it say, 365 views is funny. Like, come on, guys, this is the best video on the internet, I assure you.
Listen, now I would not go as far as to say that it's the best video on the internet, but it is certainly right up there. I would rank it right there, up there with the YouTuber who goes by Francis, and he's gets confronted by his sister about using the credit card to play Pokemon Go. It's right there. It's and also I'm a snake. Look at me, I'm a snake. It's right up there. I'm going to say that.
Let's see if it's just at some random point where I left off the last time I was watching it. So let's see where that is. What's good old No Sweat Andy gotten himself into?
Go and see him.
Go
I
and
had to
see
make
him.
sure
I can't.
He's going
there was
to
enough time between his release because
hold on.
it wasn't
Let's
something that I was
go
going
a little bit towards the end
You
here.
did the night before. You ain't going to remember.
Oh.
I can't.
definitely me.
It's definitely look, Jen. Here he's thinking. I think it's probably safe to assume that she is not DTF.
I really hope I'm not sweating. I'm not visibly sweating anywhere. That's what he's really thinking. He's not giving a rat's fat kneecap about no DTF. He's like, man, those Botox shots better not fail me now. I ain't supposed to be sweating. For if there's one bead of sweat on my brow, you guys are all going to pay.
Oh my God, this drug.
Right, and so they do have outfits for different units of the day.
Hold on, what is this?
I can't hear myself back. I get annoyed with my own voice. It's so annoying.
Why do people not believe?
Oh my God. Remember when Mama Bear was like, what do you mean, how was it recorded? He accepted the call and pressed record. Oh my God. Oh,
That you were there.
I'm sorry. Why would?
I'm just trying to understand. There's a.
I need you to ask the question again so I can think of a better answer. I need more time to think. That's classic lie maneuver right there, huh?
oh my gosh. Which cookie jar? The one in the East Wing or the cookie jar in the West Wing?
Which I've never been to either one, so I don't even know.
Yeah, so that's a little clip of our roast with Andrew. We still have a whole ass part 2 to go into. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yes. Maybe we'll do that Monday night for you guys. Maybe
yeah,
Monday or Tuesday. It's a long weekend.
Yeah. Oh, it is a long weekend. Great. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's just that, like I said, I've been very dramatic with my research. So I've been really
Amelia, yes,
consumed.
a whole ass prince. I shan't be invited to the palace anytime soon. With that little comment.
Our girl Courtney is apparently in the UK. I wonder if her and No Sweat Andy are getting that genie out the bottle together.
They're probably teapot shopping for sure.
Yeah.
I'm a little teapot, short and soft.
Oh, brother. Well, that's all I had to say about the Manson thing.
That's all I have to
over
say.
The case. So we're gonna keep an eye on that. Again, please, guys, don't forget about our Save Silva, #Save Silva, Justice for Kurt. We're gonna be meeting up in California and Los Angeles on November 5th of this year to support Silva and the investigation of this case. So yeah, we will talk soon. Go check out our No Sweat Andy on the case files.
Especially since our copyright claim has been lifted and everybody all over can now watch it.
Yeah, it sucks when
From
they do that.
every country.
It sucks when they do that because they block certain countries or whatever. But I think a lot of creators get discouraged because it's so freaking annoying. But I taught my Jen well. Just keep that template ready, and
Always. Let me give you a little Professor Snape. Always.
Always. All right. Well, thank you everyone for being in chat. Thank you to the mods. Jen, I love you.
I love you too.
We will see you soon. And yeah, and we'll play I don't even know what for our outro. I'll figure something out while Jen is saying her goodbyes.
So, yes, thank you, Dr. B. As always, you know that I love your stinking face so much. Thank you to everybody in chat. Thank you to the mods. Everybody have a good rest of your weekend, you know? Remember, there's a thin line between Sunday night and Monday morning, even though we're off tomorrow in the United States. To quote the great Jimmy Buffett, it's really there's a thin line between Saturday night and Sunday morning, meaning you can party on Saturday, but get yourself right for church on Sunday. But we're already on church day, and since clearly,
Hold on.
but thank you to everybody. Thanks for going and checking out the new channel, and I promise, like pinky promise for realies, I will have the next episode. We'll do it Wednesday. But ahead of that, make sure that you guys, if you're logged in with, if your YouTube account is tied to your Google account, run right quick and set an age, like put in your birthday, because I'm going to make it, I'm going to set limits on it just because it is sensitive content and I don't want people who aren't old enough to hear it. So there you go.
All right. Well, that's it from us. Good night, everybody, and we'll see you soon.
Adios.
Voy a batirla